So the holidays are finally over. You're done with all the shopping, the cooking, the lavish meal, the vacations, and of course, the holiday bonuses that went with it. How do you recover? And in today's video, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. The 5 tips to start the recovery process from the holiday season. Now, if you're stressed about finances like a lot of us are, this can really start and help when it comes to building it back up for the 2025 resolutions. And the first one we look at, prioritizing the debt repayment. Now, if you're like most Americans, most of the holiday shopping goes onto credit cards, it goes onto loans. Prioritizing the debt repayment strategy, and honestly, having a debt repayment strategy. When we look at this, there are actually 2 different methods. The first one is the snowball method. When you look at this method, you're actually going to list out all of those holiday debts that you accumulated. You're going to take the smallest balance first. That is the one that we are going to attack with ferocity and go on and pay that off and pay that down. Now, once that one is essentially eliminated, when it's paid off in full, you can go on to the next one and so on and so forth, snowballing your way, regardless of what the interest rate is. You don't worry about it. You are focused and only worried about that holiday debt that we got, and also the balances on those. This, of course, psychologically is going to make a big impact because you're going to start seeing very quickly the debt being eliminated and that being removed from the liabilities tab as you eliminate it. Now, the second way you can do this is the snowball avalanche. This is a little bit of a different methodology. And this one, if you're disciplined, is going to bring you more benefit. Now, for this one, you go from the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate, meaning that when you're paying off that very first one with the highest interest rate, you will actually be getting more for your dollar because of a higher interest rate. Now, again, if you're doing the holiday shopping, chances are some of those cards could be 0%. I would leave those alone as it sits. If you're paying interest versus not paying interest during a certain amount of time, focusing on the avalanche method does make a lot more sense. And like I said before, it does save you a lot more money because those high interest cards are being knocked out in their entirety. Now, of course, with the accumulation of debt, you have to have a plan. We talk about this all the time. When it comes to having a plan to get in debt, you don't have one, you just spend, you're not monitoring what you're doing, but you have to come up with a very solid, concrete plan of how you're getting out of debt. Now, of course, the second one in here, adjust and track the spending habits. This is going to be through your budget. This is going to be through your spending plan. It's crucial, especially at this time when you've already accumulated debt, to look at your spending habits. This is identifying areas that we can cut back without sacrificing quality of life. This could be dining out a little bit less. This could be looking at more free community events. This could also look at canceling some of those subscriptions, cutting the cost, even if it is at a point where it could be temporary. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, doesn't have to be anything that is permanent. But remember, the sooner that you get out of debt, the less you're paying in interest. And that is the key. When we get serious about tracking our everyday expenses, really online and offline, within a few weeks, you know where your money is going. I always stress this and I always talk about your 3 pieces to the bucket. The first one is your income. The second one is the liability. And that third bucket that you have is what is available, what is left. Are you looking in the green? Is it positive? Are you in the red? Is it negative when it comes to those liabilities? There has to be some adjustment. It's either going to be one, you're producing more income. This could be a side hustle. This could be working more hours at work. This could be a bonus. That could be increasing your income. The second one is the liabilities. That is your fixed expenses and your variable expenses that you might have to look at. You might have to really scrutinize what's in there and eliminating some that's in there. And again, that will adjust that very third bucket, which is really important. Now, when we look at third one in here, it is the budgeting system. This is the way you stay on track. This is the way that you're creating and building accountability for yourself. Creating a very detailed budget in the first time, honestly, can be a little bit difficult. It can seem like it's a lot. Once you do this 2 or 3 times, doesn't make a difference. But once you start doing this and doing it on a regular basis, it gets super easy. It's very easy to run through a budget. It's very easy to look, and it's black and white in the numbers. That's why a lot of people that I do financial counseling for do not want to see it because they know it is black and white. There's no way to hide when you start breaking out bank statements, credit card statements. When it comes to looking at your financial picture in its entirety, taking a step back, seeing what credit card debt you have, where all of your money is going, where your paycheck is going, how much time Essentially, are you working to pay for the interest for the things that you already have? It can be crazy, but honestly, it is such an eye-opening experience that I had myself a couple of years ago, which of course changed my budgeting, changed exactly how I do it. Me personally, I do zero-based budgeting. So I have my first bucket, which is income, the second bucket, my liabilities. Then that third bucket is anything that is left. With that third bucket, that is my investment bucket in the entirety. Everything that does land into that third bucket is what goes into the investment account, growing it and building wealth and building generational wealth for my family. Now, the fourth one we look at, planning low cost winter activities. This is the point again. When you think about the holiday, majority of people overspend on entertainment. Entertaining family, going out and doing things. You might have some vacation time. This is the tip to either plan low or free expenditures essentially for at least the January and February months to kind of get you caught up and enjoying the season and enjoying life without the adding of expenses. Looking for deals, looking for discounts, looking for any activities that you can budget accordingly. I know we're not going to go to I'm not spending a penny. We'll get into that in just a minute. But when you start looking at some of the time that you have with your family and creating the memories, it is very, very important to do without the addition of expenditures and giving out gifts, decorations, everything else that we buy during the holiday season. And the fifth one, and this is one that I love, we've done the no spend weeks. Try participating in a no spend January. So what does this mean? This is a commitment for 1 month every single year to reset your finances. That is going to give you the ability to essentially not spend anything without it being absolutely essential. When we think of what we can spend it on, it is the essentials. You're talking your rent, your car payment. When you look at groceries, discretionary spending goes out the window for 30 days or 31 days in January, meaning that you're not going out to eat. You're going to essentially create food at your house, buying your food at the grocery store a lot cheaper. You're going to start meal prepping. There's a lot that you can do and really build the savings momentum to eliminate the debt in the entirety. And of course, when you think of a no spend month, it is estimated you can save roughly 20% of your monthly income if you have no spend challenges set in place, which is kind of crazy. For me personally, I do this every single week, or excuse me, every single month. I pick 1 week during that time that I do not spend anything. This is not going to gas stations. This is not going out to eat. This is not grabbing anything extra. And of course, that gives me the ability, like we said with that third bucket, to really build up the investment account. Now, for me personally, when it comes to holiday spending, we save for this. We have, even at the credit union that I work at, we have holiday club accounts. So you can kind of earmark and set aside how much you're going to spend and what you're planning to spend for the holiday. That way it's not, hey, January, everything's on fire. I have a ton of credit card debt. Even if you think of a 12-month window, let's say this, December that is coming up, because guess what, guys? Christmas comes every single year. It doesn't mean you can't put away $50 or $100 away every single month, giving you, $1,100, $1,200 at the end of the year. That can be your budget for spending and making sure that you're staying in check. And if you're saving it yourself, remember, there's no interest. They will actually pay you interest on the money that you have in that high yield savings account. So you're kind of flipping the script on the holiday season, meaning the money that you already have set aside is earmarked for the holiday. And that is the cap on what you can spend. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for today's video. 5 tips to really start that financial recovery process after the holidays. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.